What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders, beating the market one trade at a time. For you, the Market Marauders investment channel helps you find the best deals in the market. So let's jump into it. So I'll be giving you my top pharmaceutical stocks that I think everyone should be watching. As we know, we're in the U.S. in the middle of an election. So the election is going to be November the 3rd, but one thing is for certain with both candidates is that they both want a vaccine. So doesn't matter who wins the presidency, whether it's Biden or whether it's Trump. I think both parties are definitely going to make finding a vaccine or continuing Operation Warp Speed a priority for the nation as a whole. So with that being said, let's jump into some medical stocks or pharmaceutical stocks that I think that everybody should be watching for the immediate future. So the first one on my list is ticker sign PFE, and this is for Pfizer. Their moving average 10 is $37.67. Moving average 50 is $36.99, and the moving average 100 is $36.88. So they ended the week at 29 cents. At $38.24. They went up 29 cents, and they are bullish, denoted by this moving average 10 line being above the moving average 100 and the moving average 50, which are the purple and yellow line. So this red line right here, chart-wise, went up above the moving average 10 and moving average 50, and VWAP was also pretty high towards the end of the week. So that's always a good sign when you see VWAP go up, basically meaning that volume increased towards the end of the week. So this company, Pfizer, is actually partnering with this other company, BioNTech, which is a German company, to help produce a vaccine for the pandemic. So if we look at them, they are bullish as well, denoted by their moving average 50 being above their moving average 10 being above their moving average 50 and the moving average 100. So their moving average 10 is $93.45. Their moving average 50 is $91.25. And the moving average 100 is $89.64. So looking at where they ended the week, they ended at $94.14. So on a pretty stable, bullish uptrend to end the week. So both these companies are combining to help find a vaccine to cure the pandemic. So let's jump into some background information, which I like to do on the channel, just so you can get a frame of reference of what's going on. I don't believe just reading charts is the go-to. I believe, going and looking at some background information will help you make a more informed decision. So BioNTech and Pfizer initiate a rolling submission to the European Medicines Agency for vaccine candidates. So rolling review accepted by the EMA based on available preclinical and clinical data from BNT16B2 to date. BioNTech and Pfizer will continue to regular and open dialogue with the EMA, providing results from their ongoing phase 3 study. So their candidate is basically in phase 3 study. They've expanded. I know they got FDA approval. I think it was this week to basically test on children as young as 12 years old, which is the first company that I've heard be able to do that. So the amount of data that they're able to collect as a company is definitely going to be vast. Now, I think they have the largest test sample as well of people who are actually being tested with placebos and just regular vaccines as well. So the amount of data that they're able to collect on finding a vaccine is actually going to be very beneficial to them. So I know this week the CEO of Pfizer basically said they're not going to have anything to submit until the end of November, so around Thanksgiving time. But I think this company, BioNTech and Pfizer, are definitely two to keep your eyes out on as the weeks continue. Now, at the end of October, Pfizer said that they will be giving an update on what basically they have going on and the data to support all their trials for phase 3. So look forward to that towards in October. And then as November begins, I think we can see all of the companies begin to ramp up. Now going to the next one that I think everybody should look at is ticker sign MRNA, and that is for Moderna. Moderna also has stated that their vaccine trial is not going to be able to be submitted until November as well, towards the end of November. So they're basically in the same boat as Pfizer and BioNTech. So their moving average 10 is $74.22. Moving average 50 is $76.24, and then moving average 100 is $74.88. They ended the week at $73.96, but they are on a pretty bearish downtrend. So it looks like they fell off towards the end of the week, starting around the 14th, and then just continued to fall down. They didn't fall down that far. They only fell from about, if we look where this section actually began, it looks like it's about the 78.66 range and then down to the 73.94 range. So not too dramatic of a fall, but still a fall nonetheless. So going to some background information on them, we can see that they received confirmation of eligibility for submission of marketing authorization application in the European Medicines Agencies for their vaccine. So kind of following the same path that Pfizer and BioNTech is. And these two companies seem to be the only ones that I have seen do this. Going into this, says the submission follows positive results from the preclinical viral challenge study and its positive interim analysis of phase 1 study of MRNA 1273 in healthy adults ages 18 to 55 years old and older adults ages 56 to 70 and 71 plus. Which they published in the New England Journal of Medicine. So, they had good data coming from their phase 1 study. So they basically, were like, okay, let's go and submit all this information to the EMA, which is basically the same thing that Pfizer has done and BioNTech. So they actually do have an earnings coming up. It's going to be Thursday, October 29th. This, to me, is a very important earnings, not just for capital appreciation or, just seeing how much money they got or were donated. I think it's also very important to see, what progress they have. They may be releasing data on this date as well based on their vaccine. It is the end of October, which is when Pfizer and BioNTech said that they will be releasing information. So I definitely think, it's very important to listen to this report or read it once it comes out. They actually give you access to the call. So this is the number for the live call, dial in, and then this is the conference ID. So it's all public information. You can go listen to it. But if you want to get up to speed on what the company is doing, this is the way to do it. You can listen to these calls and all this different information and find a good stock to potentially invest in. Now, I'm not telling you to invest or not to invest in it, just pointing you in a direction where you could start your due diligence. I'm going to the next one that I'm going to have on my watch list as far as pharmaceuticals are concerned. Is going to be ticker sign J&J, and that is for Johnson & Johnson. Now, Johnson & Johnson's been around forever. Company is like pretty old. They make a lot of things from like baby powder, lotions, things of that nature, but they also are jumping into the vaccine race. So their moving average 10 is $148.39. Moving average 50 is $148.03. Moving average 100 is $149.07. They ended the week at $147.75. Looking at the chart, we can see that they are in a pretty bearish downtrend, denoted by the moving average 10 being below the moving average 100 and barely above the moving average 50. So, a lot of resistance coming with this. It seems like there's been a resistance at 148.43. If we can see by this line right here, they went down, came back up, semi-tested it, but went sideways. So the 148 range is going to be a range to keep in mind when looking at this stock and its actual price action. So going into some background information on them. It says that they gave their 2020 third quarter results. So their sales were $2.1 billion, reflecting an overall and operational increase of 1.7% and adjusted operation increase of 2.8% despite the impact of the pandemic. EPS of 1.33 increased 101.5%. Adjusted EPS of 2.20 increased 3.8%. And the company increased guidance for full year report sales by $1 billion and adjusted EPS by 0.15. driven by the strength and recovery of the strong underlying business fundamentals. So financially, this company is pretty stable. They've been around for a long time. And financially, they have like a really good team behind them, backing wise, and they're always, trying to find things to better the company as a whole. So going into their vaccine sort of niche that they jumped into, they have been recently paused on their vaccine due to complications that have gone on. So it says we have temporarily paused further dosing of our vaccine candidate clinical trials, including phase 3 ensemble trial due to unexplained illness in study participant. Following our guidelines, the participant's illness is being reviewed and evaluated by Ensemble Independent Data Safety Monitoring Board, so DSMB, as well as our internal clinical and safety physicians. So pretty much they've paused their trial, so it kind of takes them temporarily out of the runnings, but I would say still look for them to continue their trial moving forward. So they're not going to put all this information and research into it to just stop, even though they got paused. With Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna still, not even submitting something yet, I still would say, keep your eyes out on Johnson & Johnson. And Johnson & Johnson is a pretty good company overall. So I would say still keep your eyes out on them for even just a long-term hold of a stock. Now next we're going to go to Eli Lilly, or Eli Lilly. So let's see if we can find another chart of them. Well, their chart's not cooperating, and it says it's delisted. So maybe I typed in the wrong ticker on that one. So we're going to go next to GlaxoSmithKline. So GSK for GlaxoSmithKline is another one of the stocks that I think you should keep your eyes out on, as well as Eli Lilly. So I may just have typed this in wrong, but let's go to some information from them. They actually had a pause of their candidate that they had, but they make a similar drug to GlaxoSmithKline, and that's why they were on the list. But it says that the drug that they're making now has significant effect on recovery time, most impactful on patients requiring oxygen from the pandemic. So, they're partnering with this company called Insight, and that's basically when they're going to try their recovery drugs. They're kind of in the niche of, I guess, therapeutics is what you would call it. It's so not really like on the vaccine side of it, but when President Trump became sick, he took some antibody serum that was sort of like what this company makes. So he took it from GlaxoSmithKline, but Eli Lilly actually makes a similar drug to the one that President Trump actually took. So that's why I have them on my radar, because they're also in that medical niche, as well as developing things to help, recovery times for people who are suffering from the pandemic. So going into GlaxoSmithKline, we can see that their moving average 10 is $36.40. The moving average 50 is $37.03. And the moving average 100 is $37.18. So they ended the week at $36.44 and are bearish, denoted by the moving average 10 line being below the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line. So if we look on here, they were bullish for a little while and then had a kind of a big sell-off towards the end of the week. So going into some information on them, this is just one of the articles that I found. This came out the 6th. So Independent Data Monitoring Committee recommended on September 30th that the study continue into phase 3. based on positive evaluation, safety, tolerable data led in phase 2. So this is in regards to Ver Biotechnology and GSK announced global expansion of phase 3. Comet ICE study evaluating VIR 7831 for the treatment of the pandemic. So initial phase 3 results may be available as early as the end of 2020. Results for primary endpoint expected the first quarter of 2021, with current estimates at January 2021. If successful, VIR 7831 has the potential to advance outpatient treatment for the sufferers of the pandemic. So, some good news for GSK. Definitely keep my eyes on GSK as time goes on, and Lilly. So, lastly, one name on here that I'm keeping my eyes out on is AstraZeneca, and their ticker sign is AZN. Their moving average 10 is 53.01. Moving average 50 is 53.98, and the moving average 100 is 54.22. They ended the week at 52.76, so down 27 cents from when the market closed. But they're in this pharmaceutical vaccine niche as well, so I'm definitely watching them closely. So going into background information on them, they actually had a vaccine candidate and it was paused as well. So what happened is it was paused in the U.S., but they got the AOK for Japan to continue testing. So technically, their vaccine trial is still testing, but it's just not testing in the U.S. So it says, as part of ongoing randomized controlled clinical trials of the AstraZeneca vaccine AZD 12222, a standard review process has been triggered, leading to voluntary pause of vaccination across all the trials, allow an independent committee to review the safety data of a single event of an unexplained illness that occurred in the UK phase 3 trial. So they're basically paused, meaning, the work has stopped. This is a pretty serious issue when they're paused, but from what I read, other places that they got the AOK from other countries to continue their trial. So after the pause that they have, once they get everything figured out, I would say, definitely look for them to continue with their trial. But as far as leaders are concerned, in the vaccine candidate situation, I would say Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna are my top 3 that I'm looking at. As far as progress-wise, now the other ones I would not put them out as vaccine candidates, but if you're looking for 3 that are the top contenders, especially, considering that they have not been paused, I would say look at those 3. All right, so good luck to everybody trading out there. Just bear in mind, this is not financial information. This is just for educational purposes. So bear that in mind as well. Also, make sure you do your own due diligence when you're looking at stocks, because they are very risky, but they can also be very lucrative as well. So good luck to everybody out there trading this week, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.